me?
No? I'm new with this. Thank you. Try this.
Yeah. Nope, that's us. Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Try the top right.
Here we go. The next item on the agenda is the public comment section of the meeting. If anybody wishes to make a public comment, now is the time to do so, and you can approach the podium. Seeing no one approach the podium, I'll consider that section of the meeting closed, and we'll move on to the superintendent's reports. Superintendent Smith.
Thank you very much. I will start, as always, by mentioning a couple of important accomplishments, both of which have to do with students at the high school level. First of all, as I sent in an email, I believe, to all of the council members, if you had the opportunity to watch any of the Masters event over the course of the weekend, you would have seen that ExxonMobil was supporting the event, but more importantly for us, ExxonMobil has supported the Massachusetts and National Math and Science Initiative. And one of our students, Carl Dennis, who's an outstanding senior at Malden High School, has performed so well in his advanced placement courses at the high school that he was invited to Houston to be one of 3 students highlighted in those ads over the weekend. So it was a great opportunity to watch Carl in these ads. I sent the email to you. If you haven't opened it up, please do. If it doesn't bring tears to your eyes, I don't know what will. But this is a kid who spoke very convincingly about the impact of all of his math and science teachers, a kid who changed from someone who didn't see math and science as being a big thing in his life to a kid who has gotten qualifying scores on AP courses he's taken to date and is currently taking, I believe, AP Calculus and AP Physics. So congratulations to Carl, to the whole high school, and to every single math and science teacher Carl has been fortunate enough to have in Malden. And then secondly, ironically, another award which has another golf twist on it, in that Pam Skinner and Pam Zelaya were 2 of only 5 teachers in Massachusetts and 2 of 200 nationwide who were selected to attend the 2011 National Mickelson ExxonMobil Teachers Academy in New Jersey this summer. And the academy is an intensive, all-expenses-paid professional development program to 3rd to 5th grade teachers to develop innovative math and science teaching skills. I understand they do not also get a set of golf clubs, which I'm very disappointed about, but congratulations are in order to both Pam Skinner and Pam Zelaya, 2 of 200 teachers nationally to participate in this outstanding professional development opportunity. So that's it for my accomplishments. I can move on to my report. The first piece of that report has to do with school improvement plans, and Dana Brown, principal of Malden High School, is with us this evening to provide an overview of the high school's 2010-11 school improvement plan, as well, and he has also submitted for your review the 2011-12 program of studies. So Dana will address the committee, and the committee can follow with any questions they might like to ask. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the committee. It was a comprehensive report that was sent to you along with the new program of studies. So in looking at the time, I'd ask if we could go right to questions. I know it's a 53-page document, and I don't want to read through it word by word. And so hopefully many of you have some critical questions that we can get right to it. I will say, just as a general point, and I brought this to the staff's attention this morning as we look at our NEASC self-study, over the last 10 years, Malden High School enrollment is up nearly 300 students, and we are down 10 full-time staff positions in that time. And that includes members of the secretarial staff, paraprofessionals, as well as teachers. So during the course of a 10-year period, our enrollment has grown over 300, while our full-time staffing has declined. And I think long-term, we cannot keep up with that pace, certainly on either side. While we cannot turn away students, there will be a breaking point at some point in time where the number of students who walk in the door will not be able to get the full attention and expertise and care and compassion that they are currently getting if we continue to reduce the number of staff in all positions, not just teachers, not just paras, not administrators. It's across the board. So I say that not as any idle threat, not as any sort of promise, nothing of that sort. It's just a fact. We have a tremendous staff at Malden High School doing a great job. I do worry that at some point in time we will not be able to sustain it if enrollment continues to grow and staffing levels either don't increase or continue to decrease. So, thank you.
Any members of the committee have a question for Mr. Brown? On the right.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. This is just more a curiosity question. I know earlier at our budget meeting about virtual, can you talk a little bit more about how the virtual school classroom works?
Virtual high school?
The virtual high
Sure.
school. So the 25, because I know we had, that kind of came, it's two different things. All right, I just want to...
Make note that the distinction between virtual high school that we talked about before are we have two kids in the district who are enrolled in the Greenfield virtual high school, though our own high school has its own virtual high program.
Right. So the virtual high school that we're enrolled in is a program whereby the school agrees to reduce the teaching load inside the school by one section so that a teacher can pick up a virtual section online. So the teacher in Malden High School is Charles Bowers, who teaches advanced placement economics online. He has 4 Malden High School students enrolled in that class and 21 other students from around the country enrolled in that class. In exchange for Mr. Bowers teaching the full-year advanced placement economics class, we get 25 seats per semester in advanced placement or honors level or college prep classes throughout the country. So we have filled those seats on a regular basis, and as we look to schedule for next year, we're in the middle of the scheduling process now. Students have signed up for virtual high school classes, anthropology, modern art, any subject you can think of, they have selected that for next year. Students do it for a variety of reasons. We don't offer it. It doesn't fit within their current schedule, or they want to do something they've never tried before, and virtual online is the way to go because colleges are talking about it, grad schools are talking about it, so it sounds like a good thing to do. So kids do it for a lot of reasons. We've had discussions around expanding it. There is a cost to expanding it. There's a $6,500 fee that you pay each year for training and to be part of the program. And there's also the cost of when Mr. Bowers teaches that online section, he only has 4 Malden High School students instead of, 20 or 30. the trade-off is we have these 50 other seats throughout the country in these virtual courses. That's very different than the Greenfield High School online school, which I think has an enrollment of over 400 students now from across the state, and that's the first of its kind in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We're not related to them in any way, other than a couple of Malden residents are in there.
That's why I was like, wait a minute, it didn't dawn on me. Actually, I just had a question sort of about the renovations and sort of, how that's going, how that will impact sort of the school improvement plans, especially with new sort of classrooms coming online, and really just talking about the decrease that we have in staff with the increase of kids. And, is any of these changes or some of the other things that are going to come online, we hope, back to, some of the woodworking, the
Pre-engineering?
Pre-engineering, any of the, how will that impact?
Well, a couple of things. I'll tell you short-term and long-term about the renovation. Short-term, this morning at 5:30, a tractor-trailer backed up in the parking lot and pushed 4 of us out into the middle of Ferry Street, and all 4 cars sustained plenty of damage. It was a great way to start a Monday morning. We had a lot of chuckles. Nobody got hurt. So short-term, that was this morning. Long-term, the renovation is coming out just more than I could have asked for. State-of-the-art auditorium, gymnasium, can hardly wait till the library is done, the cafeterias, 14 new science rooms coming on board in September, classrooms are on, office spaces are on, so the renovation is terrific. We have room to expand some programs. We have plans to bring pre-engineering in September, but that is a staff position that we're talking about internally. The allied health position, we are now in negotiations, and Attorney Greenspan is looking at the contract. We're in discussions with Medical Professional Institute, which is a Malden organization, to provide us their professional nursing and doctor staff in exchange for seats in their program, so that they would use our brand-new renovated space, and our kids would take part in the program. They would also have some of their students enrolled as well. That's the current arrangement we have with Bunker Hill Community College. Bunker Hill doesn't pay rent. In exchange for the use of our classrooms, we get 8 seats per class, and we have about 60 Malden High students currently taking Bunker Hill courses for free at Malden High School. So we're looking at those types of arrangements. But at some point in time, we need a pre-engineering teacher, we need a woodworking teacher. We have all of these brand-new phys ed spaces we're not taking full use of. So we have some needs, and I know it's not a great time to be a city councilor or a school committee person or a financial person or superintendent. It's a horrible time, but we still have to look at the picture of where are the kids and what are they doing, and how can we service them better, even in these poor economic times.
And I'm actually very encouraged that, we know that, we have this great space and we need, the bodies to teach the kids, but that people are kind of looking a little more outside of the box and making some arrangements with something else, so that we are meeting the needs in the short term and hopefully building on in the long term, but finding a way to, meet 2 sides of the needs in this tough economic time. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone on the right? On my left, Mr. Froyo.
Good evening, Mr. Brown.
Morning. Evening, Mr. Frail.
What I want to know, we had a vocational ad hoc committee we put together, and we had discussed a few items, like putting in an exploratory program with not just the tech ed classes, but with business, the art program, and so forth. I was wondering, we was also talking about getting some grants, Perkins grants, by having a full program in each of the areas that you mentioned, like the business area, pre-engineering, auto, wood shop, and all that. Do you have any plans to implement that type of a program in the future?
It would be difficult to answer that tonight, Mr. Florio. I think our first plan for this coming September is to get kids enrolled back into the woodworking construction program, get kids back enrolled in the pre-engineering program, which is new, identify students who want to take allied health, identify students who will continue with the automotive. So I think we have to get students enrolled in these programs first, and then we have to take a step back and find out what can we continue to support long-term, what's eligible for Perkins money, what's eligible for other grants, can we create some type of mini, vocational academy down in that area. So I think those are things we're going to look at, step 2, step 3, step 4, but in talking to the folks at Malden High School, right now we're just making sure that come September, we have staff in those positions and we have students enrolled in those courses. And I think we're in pretty good shape. I know the guidance counselors are doing that now. They've identified many students who are interested in the pre-engineering program. They've identified students interested in getting back into the woodworking construction program, continuing with automotive. So those are all good signs. I would hate to promise you tonight that in 2 years we'll be a full Perkins program offering all of these things when we just want to make sure we can open up in September with these new shops up and running and fully staffed. And then I think next year at this time, if I'm before you, then we can talk about how we're going to either continue or grow the program.
Okay, well, with my experience, I know how valuable an exploratory program is to building up these programs, because the students get to see what they might like by taking a few of these courses. So okay, thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Farrell.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Dana, just on adequate yearly progress, I know, there's some subgroups that continue to be challenging on that. Can you explain what you think the challenges are there and what you're doing to address those as a school community? Thanks.
Sure. The interesting part, Mr. Winslow, is over my 8 years, the subgroup has often changed. So there have been years where we've solved the special ed subgroup issue, and then there are other years where we've solved the African American subgroup issue, free and reduced subgroup issue, and then the following year it changes. And now we're dealing with a different subgroup, ELL students or some other subgroup. So I think what we've tried to do at Malden High School is look at this as a big picture and not so targeted with so many interventions that we miss the big picture, because the students are always changing. And so if we focus and target, for instance, special ed students or African American students, and we just focus all our interventions on them, well, what happens if they make AYP this year and it's 2 other subgroups who don't? So I think the general premise over the last, I would say, a couple of years, I want to give a lot of credit to Superintendent Smith, probably more like 4 years, I think it's this idea of good teaching going on across the board and not in pockets, because there is this sort of fine line you walk, that you can intervene too much and you can do too much to the point where you're not paying attention to the whole body and you're just paying attention to these appendages, only to find out that these work fine. You really should have been paying attention over here. So I think it's looking more at the big picture and not focusing each year on a different moving target, because it does change each year.
Anyone else?
Well done.
Attorney Vino. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Just a couple of quick questions. One of which is, I really enjoyed the section of the improvement plan on asset mapping. I think that is, I shouldn't use asset again, that is a great asset to everything that you're doing and to the school. A lot of these programs seem very wonderful. One of them I just had a quick question about was the choice, not chance. And it said that there were around 40 incoming ninth graders every year. And I know that...
That was last year, was the
Last year.
first year. This year, we're grant funded for the second year of the program.
So my question was it interest level, or was it that's just the cap that the grant would allow us to take in terms of the participants?
Last year was based on a funding level,
So it was
so we
funding.
got an X number of dollars, and based on that X number of dollars, they said you could take up to this many kids. The money's been increased this year, so we hope to add the number of students to that summer program.
Wonderful. Another question I had for you was in regard to the teacher leaders. I was kind of hoping you could give us just a very brief overview of the teacher leaders, their roles and responsibilities, and sort of what role they play in the hierarchy of director, coaches, etc.
Sure. Teacher leaders are exactly what they are. Teachers who are leaders within not only their content areas, but within the school. We used to have this old department head model in Malden where curriculum department heads would teach a couple of courses and then be primarily responsible for handing out the books, collecting the midterm exams, final exams, a lot of sort of paper and organizational stuff that department heads used to do, in addition to supervising the staff. I think the one big difference teacher leaders are right now is that teacher leaders are looked at as somebody who is there to help the teacher in the classroom with whatever the issue is. And it ranges from curriculum questions. We have 3, and I'll pick Algebra 1. We have 3 Algebra 1 teachers who seem to be here. You seem to be here. What's happening? We need to help you get here so that all 4 of you finish in the same place. All the Algebra 1 kids can take the same final, and they're all prepared for next year. So the teacher leader will work with that teacher on fine-tuning the pacing guide, the curriculum, looking at assessments. Teacher leaders also pull together members of their content teams and say, okay, we have 4 Biology 1 teachers. Wouldn't it make sense if you all shared biology labs instead of making them all up on your own? Let's have some common ones that we all do.